ene Goldbod CEO Sammy Gyamfi enso by a press conference chenchirenchi na mejiri ye se NPP for about to be ama no mo brutal afenyo mark na bena ose asa kodwo ponkroma enti nanopa government accountability series no ene adu Goldbod CEO Sammy Gyamfi na enra he gave us a tip of what to expect today enwumre and enra no kopiem e National Mining Dialogue 2026 being organized by what media group limited. Nabusiafo Sammy Gyamfi some to Jano or mention 32 billion B. What figure did he mention? What is the explanation? What's here? Ghanaian economy na SCP asitano. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a visionary and was so die establish Goldbod. Mo peo Goldbod kahubi. Nabusiafo say we are safe for gold producing countries are Ghana toss 6. Abusia we are safe for now. Sammy Gyamfi bomun chirem and of course Sammy Gyamfi enka Goldbod who has my bra won shady NPP about 30 minutes mebo full video no nya ho ntia see right on so katwa show subscribe we are not turn on bell notification icon o should never like no leave a comment in the comment section afi be share link in the for fro anya bi ahwe little flower green clean solutions that azaguza menguzo nka wo say open cleaning company and a power new purposes you fear hospital church bank institution sorry them more I'm a high come high am there share friend numbers na go screen you be try you pull the amount of crabby near Bajo. Backumaccess.com Bama Ghana for more money. Patcha Dana Wusino. Assassin episode Cotton Undi Ghana duty for any crochet. Fashion a fray. Number the Gushkin as I log on to backumaccess.com. Nabusia. Yakwa Yakamun create actually more pictures, videos, nothing so Yasama report into Undi Ghana so say one Gasa Ghana do any aqua crochet or trendy for number the Gush as I log on to backumaccess.com. Abja for young couldn't go to Sammy Gyamfi and Ra Nanyasam Ketwa.
Oh. Ni Chairman, Your Royal Majesty, the Gamanche, esteemed traditional leaders, officials of the Minerals Commission and the Minerals Income Investment Fund, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to you all. It is a real privilege to join you at the National Mining Dialogue 2026. I commend the organizers for convening this important platform to shape the future of our mining industry, particularly at a time when Ghana must speak frankly to itself. And I think that the organizers deserve a round of applause from us. It will be interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme before us, Rethinking the Social License to Operate, is not just a sweet conference slogan. It is a political, economic, and moral demand. Natural resources are God's gifts to the communities that host them, and a blessing to the state. If those resources do not transform the communities from which they are taken, then we have not fully converted blessing into development. The social justice to operate is built not only on legal authority, but on the confidence that mineral wealth serves both the national interest and host communities. We cannot continue to mine gold from the soil of our communities, while poverty, lack of access to potable water, poor roads, youth unemployment, and weak local economies remain the daily reality of too many mining communities in our country. This is the reason why the visionary John Dramani Mahama established the Ghana Goldbod. Ghana needed a new approach to managing one of its most strategic natural resources. An approach that retains more value locally, strengthens reserves, supports responsible downstream industries, and helps formalize a productive artisanal and small-scale mining sector. Goldbod's mandate is therefore not merely to trade gold. It is to help ensure that every ounce of gold produced in Ghana creates greater value for Ghana. For me, ladies and gentlemen, the strongest reason to rethink the social license is a youth question. In our mining communities, young people see wealth leave their land every day. Yet too many do not see any path to decent work. And I believe just here from Apinto just made that point. Too many do not see any path to decent work, skills, ownership, and meaningful future. That contradiction is dangerous. It is not fair, and it is not sustainable. The social license cannot survive where the youth believe mining has no place for them except as casual laborers and bystanders, while others see them as troublesome agitators and security risk. The social license must therefore be reimagined as a development compact with the youth, a compact that integrates the youth in responsible mining through capacity building, creates sustainable jobs, supports local enterprise, opens services around production, and gives young people a stake in the future of mining. That is why mining communities must no longer be treated as land donors. They are the custodians of the resource. And therefore, I submit very forcefully this afternoon that mining communities must be treated as development partners and economic shareholders. If we accept that truth, distinguished guest, then we must confront a hard question, which is, after more than a century of mining, why are too many Ghanaians still spectators in the ownership and value of mines? Ghana has mined gold commercially for more than a century. Yet for most of this long history, Ghanaians have not been the real owners of the mines. The large-scale mining sector has been largely foreign-led, and too much of the value has leaked out of the country through ownership structures, financing arrangements, imported inputs, offshore services, limited beneficiation, and weak local industrial linkages. That is why Obuasi can produce gold for generations and still not compare to Johannesburg in industrial depth, urban development, economic opportunities, and what have you. This is not because Obuasi lacks resources. The state of development in Obuasi points to a truism that extraction without intentional policy does not automatically produce transformation. Mines do not build nations by accident. Nations build value through deliberate ownership, strategic partnerships, infrastructure linkages, and disciplined policy management. If we want a new story, we must all find more, process more, fabricate more, and retain more. It's as simple as that. Communities must be active participants in the value chain, from exploration services and production support to logistics, fabrication, environmental services, refining, jewelry, and downstream enterprise. When these roles are localized, a mine becomes more than a pit or a shaft. It becomes a training ground, a market, an industrial anchor, and a platform for youth enterprise. Goldbod, gold, need chairman, is not a marginal commodity in Ghana's economy. It is currently our most dominant export commodity. The latest 2024-2025 merchandise trade data show total exports of $32 billion for the year 2025, with gold earning about $20 billion and accounting for roughly 63% of export earnings. Undoubtedly, gold has helped drive record trade surpluses, strengthened national reserves, supported currency appreciation, and anchored the current economic stability we are witnessing. The policy consequence is clear. Gold is both a strategic asset and a moral responsibility. It must stabilize the economy, but it must also transform the communities from which it comes. This is part of the logic behind the Ghana National Accelerated Reserve Accumulation Program, GANRAP. Ghana is deliberately, through this program, using a portion of its mineral wealth to strengthen reserves, build economic resilience and national economic prosperity. That same intentionality must now reach host communities more directly. Let us also recognize the critical role of artisanal and small-scale mining. It is not just about large-scale mining. Recent 2025 data show that Ghana produced about 5.9 million ounces of gold, with ASM contributing about 3.1 million ounces. That is 52.4%. This is what has made Ghana not just the lead producer of gold in Africa, but number 6 in the whole world. For the first time in over a century, artisanal and small-scale miners overtook large-scale producers in 2025. ASM has become a major driver of Ghana's gold output and of the macroeconomic benefits gold now delivers. This proves that when Ghanaians become active value actors, their productivity will power national development. Ladies and gentlemen, development is not accidental. It is a product of intentional policy, disciplined management, and resource optimization. If gold is God's gift to our communities and a blessing to the state, then the state must leverage it to rewrite the story of mining communities. This is why Goldbod matters. Goldbod is not merely a trading institution. It is a national value retention instrument established to bring order, traceability, transparency, and greater Ghanaian benefits into the gold trade sector, particularly the ASM sector. Through market formalization, responsible sourcing, local refining, and support for downstream industries such as jewelry manufacturing, Goldbod is helping to shift Ghana from extraction to value creation. As a country, we have not optimized impact because too much ownership, financing, refining, services, and downstream activity happens outside the communities and outside Ghana. That must change, and the John Mahama government and the Goldbod remain poised to rewrite the story. Government must therefore pursue bold reforms that optimize returns from gold and other natural resources, expand responsible exploration, support indigenous ownership, formalize artisanal and small-scale mining, win the fight against illegal mining, accelerate local refining and local value addition, strengthen traceability, and convert mining revenues into visible development in host communities. We must also make production services around mining real opportunities for host communities. And by this, I'm talking about catering, transport, security, reclamation, maintenance, environmental monitoring, agricultural supply, housing, and local commerce. A young person in Takwa, Nichaman, Oboase, Pristia, Bibieni or Hafo, should see mining not as a distant concession, but as a chain of opportunities, a contract to supply, a workshop to run, a skill to learn, a business to build, and a future to claim. To organize these reforms, I propose a simple but urgent model, and I call it IP. And the I stands for involve, the P stands for protect, and the E stands for expand. The youth factor in all this, ladies and gentlemen, is not a side issue. It is the urgency of this dialogue. The IPE model must be judged by whether it connects mineral wealth to the future of our youth. A country that fails to do that is sitting on both wealth and unhinged risk. So, distinguished guests, by involve, I mean this. Number one, mining communities must become consent providers, not afterthoughts, because Accra cannot determine their fate without them. Number two, mining communities must be recognized not as land donors, but as I said, economic shareholders in the wealth they host. And number 3, mining communities must move from consultation to strategic partnerships. They must have a meaningful voice in licensing, clearer access to mining-related opportunities, and deliberate youth pathways into capacity building, mining services, and alternative livelihoods. Local royalty retention must be higher and more decentralized, so development funds reach the people directly. Definite corporate social responsibility contracts must move mining areas from discretionary projects to predictable transformation, helping communities and citizens to see how mineral wealth translates into shared national development. More importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we must promote more indigenous ownership of mines. We must support Ghanaian capital to participate in meaningful exploration, mine development, mine services, and value addition. You can't get more from mining if you don't own the mines. We must expand geological work, open new fields responsibly, and ensure that as production grows, local value also grows. Production without ownership, ladies and gentlemen, is limited. Production without value is leakage. Production without community transformation is a broken social contract. Ladies and gentlemen, I move to the P. And by protect, which stands for the P, I mean water bodies, forest, farmlands, and public health must be treated as non-negotiable national assets. The social license of mining cannot coexist with poisoned rivers and devastated forest reserves. Reclamation and reforestation, which I know Nee Chairman is very passionate about, must be mandatory and effectively enforced. ASM formalization, traceability, and compliance must separate responsible miners from destructive actors. They are not the same. And corporates of irresponsible mining must be prosecuted and punished, no matter whose ox is God, in accordance with law. Fellow countrymen and women, now to the E, expand. And by expand, I mean indigenous ownership and Ghanaian capital must be deliberately supported across exploration, production, and services. Local refining, jewelry fabrication, and downstream industries must be built around production. Responsible and formalized ASM operators should be supported with appropriate hard rock mining equipment, with repayment models that strengthen Goldbod's aggregation while increasing national gold output and mitigating environmental risk. Now, having set out my IPE proposal, let me be clear that this is not theory. This is where passion must push implementation, and the social license must be renewed through visible action. Goldbod and government are already driving this agenda. How are we doing this? Number 1, Nee Chairman, the Goldbod since its establishment has waged a relentless war against gold smuggling, ensuring the export of about 170 metric tons of ASM gold alone through formal channels. This has generated foreign exchange of over 17 billion United States dollars for the country, thereby strengthening FS market stability, foreign reserves, and macroeconomic stability. Now, by doing this, we are ensuring that Ghanaians directly benefit from the exploitation of the mineral wealth of the nation through improved living conditions. So today, when the Ghana Statistical Service comes out and tells you that inflation is less than 5%, and businesses can get dollars at a rate below 12 Ghana cedis, and that translates into cheaper goods and services, including fuel, then you should know that that is as a result of the gold resources that God has blessed us with. And through the Goldbod intervention of President Mahama, we are making sure that all of us benefit through improved living conditions. Aside this important achievement, ladies and gentlemen, the Goldbod is involving Ghanaians more directly in the gold economy and expanding Ghana's share of value beyond extraction. The Goldbod has made local gold trading the preserve of Ghanaians and is opening space for Ghanaian jewelers, refiners, and young entrepreneurs to move from spectators to active value actors. The Goldbod is fast changing Ghana's tragic story of zero local refining of its gold resources. Chairman, when we took office in 2025, Ghana was producing and exporting a lot of gold. And yet not a gram of that gold was refined locally in Ghana. I'm happy to inform you, Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that under the reset agenda of President Mahama, this year alone, nearly 9 metric tons of gold produced in Ghana has been refined in Ghana before export. This is helping to create sustainable jobs while retaining refining fees and associated benefits in the Ghanaian economy. The planned Ghana Gold Village, to be established by the Goldbod in partnership with the private sector next year, 2027, will support world-class gold jewelry manufacturing, gold fabrication, and international markets for Ghanaian gold products. The implementation of this project will be led by our subsidiary, Goldbod Jewelry Limited, and serve as a platform for skills, enterprise, jobs, and industrial growth. And this is a very important project dear to the heart of the president. The chairman, you go to Dubai today, they don't produce gold in Dubai, but they have a gold souk where you can buy all forms of gold artifacts and ornaments, tablets, coins, and jewelry. We are the lead producer of gold in Africa, once called the Gold Coast. And today we are number 6 in the world. And yet we don't have a gold souk. And so next year, by the grace of God and with your support, under the leadership of President Mahama, we will establish a gold village here in Accra, where you can buy our made in Ghana gold jewelry and artifacts as a store of value, as a gift, or other forms of value. The Goldbod is also preparing to roll out a gold tokenization program in 2027 to promote fractional ownership of Ghana's gold resources by citizens and Africans. Through this initiative, citizens with modest funds can participate in gold-backed investment opportunities. The objective is simple. We must all own and share in the mineral wealth of our nation. Today you can go to mining towns and there are Ghanaians who have not seen gold before. And they don't own gold because all the gold that is produced is exported outside and Ghanaians cannot buy that gold. And that is why we are introducing gold tokenization, to allow you to own a fraction of Ghana's gold on your phone, just like you have money on your Momo wallet. And you can spend this gold, use it for payments, transfer it to a friend. You can buy a gold token for your son as a birthday gift. It is better than keeping a savings account. And that is what we are talking about here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Goldbod is also supporting government's fight against illegal mining and the protection of our environment. In addition to the donation of pickup vehicles and a cash amount of 5 million Ghana cedis to the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat last year, the Goldbod is currently in the process of procuring high-spec speedboats for NIMOS to strengthen the fight against illegal mining, particularly in and around water bodies. In close collaboration with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Minerals Commission and RCOMSDEP, the Goldbod will, starting from January 2027, commence an ASM formalization and financing support program designed to transition artisanal miners into legal, responsible, OECD-compliant operators through regulatory compliance, capacity building, and financing support in the area of concession viability, equipment financing, and mining services. We cannot continue to make mining the preserve of multinationals through large-scale mining. Our youths need to be supported. There are many who are willing to do mining responsibly, not all the young people doing ASM mining are fixated on destroying the environment. And it is the responsibility of government to provide that congenial atmosphere for such people to thrive. That is what Peru has done, and that is why ASM mining has transformed Peru. And Ghana Goldbod will ensure that we do that starting from next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Goldbod is scheduled to contract a technology-driven traceability system by the end of the year, this year 2026, to strengthen responsible sourcing, improve accountability, and make illegal and irresponsible mining less attractive. A national competitive tendering process for this system is currently underway and will ensure that every ounce of gold purchased by the Goldbod is traceable to its mine of origin, so that if it is not a responsible mine, the state can either confiscate it or buy it at a punitive discount as a disincentive for illegal mining. Under our statutory mandate to support sustainability initiatives, the Goldbod has commenced reclamation of 50 hectares of degraded land in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. This forest reserve was destroyed before the Goldbod was established, but today we are reclaiming 50 hectares of that. And we plan, Chairman, to ramp up our reclamation program to cover a further 150 hectares of devastated forest lands next year, 2027. Under environmental, social, and governance policy, the Goldbod is fully funding the rehabilitation of 3 of the 6 water treatment plants of the Ghana Water Limited, shut down as a result of poor water quality linked to irresponsible mining and other activities. These 3 plants, Dabuase, Setrehimai, and Bonsa, serve over 76 communities and over 100,000 users in the western and central regions. The rehabilitation of the remaining 3 water treatment plants at Kwenyako, Befi Krom, and Esejui will also be fully funded by the Goldbod next year. And I see the CEO of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund looking at me, because she has also brought us a proposal to buy some equipment. And it's a very important, request that she has put before us this afternoon. And I can tell you, as CEO of Goldbod, that next year we'll be donating at least 1 MRI to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. Chairman, the Goldbod is also addressing one of the biggest barriers to Ghanaian participation in mining: the risk capital required for geological investigations. Under our mining support program, Goldbod is partnering with the Ghana Geological Survey Authority to undertake geological studies of mineralized areas, de-risk investments, attract credible international investors, and responsibly expand Ghana's mining base. Geological investigations are currently ongoing at Funsi in the Upper West region and Bensre in the Ashanti region, fully funded by the Goldbod. These studies will help build a reliable investment-grade asset portfolio, reduce investor risk, and position Goldbod to negotiate stronger equity stakes in the resulting model mines that will be established. These are not ordinary commercial interventions. They are strategic investments to expand production, ownership, and socio-economic impact for Ghana. Further, to address the problem of purity losses in the ASM gold trade space and under declaration of mining revenues in general, the Goldbod will by November this year, 2026, commence the construction of an ultra-modern ISO-certified national assay laboratory in Ghana. This will completely transform Ghana's primitive assay regime and enable the Goldbod as a national assayer to undertake the golden standard of assay, fire assay, on all ASM and large-scale gold outputs before export. The land for this project has already been secured at Aviance Cargo Village at Accra International Airport. Architectural drawings and bills of quantities have been finalized, and the procurement process is currently underway to select a contractor for this landmark project. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the task before us is not simply a decision to mine gold or not. It is about how we involve, protect, and expand to justify the social license to operate. We must build a mining economy that produces dignity, opportunity, resilience, and transformation for our kith and kin while protecting our environment. Communities, traditional leaders, development partners, the media, civil society, academia, and the private sector all have a role in making this social license real. Together, let us build a mining sector where the child of a mining community can easily aspire and become a geologist, engineer, jeweler, fabricator, environmental scientist, equipment operator, entrepreneur, or a mine owner. Let us build a mining sector where communities do not merely hear of the benefits of mining, but experience them. A mining sector where regulators are respected because they are firm, fair, and transparent. If we get this right, Ghana will not only produce gold, Ghana will produce prosperous mining towns, strategic industries around its minerals, and deeper community trust. So let this national mining dialogue mark a turning point. Let it be the moment we chose to involve, to protect, and to expand, not as slogans, but as a national duty to our youth, our communities, our environment, and generations on board. Thank you very much for your attention, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Goldbod CEO Sammy Gyamfi and I'm not saying current press conference nanka say baso me the full video ni be bramo tabi kuchu and NPP by press conference afenyo mark in be o see here afenyo mark press conference say the Goldbod for the echi wo mo a NPP ba power na echi wo mo a omo be condition the emu ntimi o hey ene be dwe me na ma say mo share radio so ka to show me say me di shemu bi enche kra bye bye.